Eve resigns herself to the fact that he'll never comprehend her jokes. After the trip, Eve takes a cleansing shower and makes another attempt to reach anyone via radio, but the airwaves remain silent. That evening, she waters the plants in the greenhouse, jots down the few scraps of news she has, fixes broken items, and bounces a ball off the wall to keep herself at least somewhat entertained, while Arthur does a loop around the station's small perimeter, guarding it against unknown intruders. In the morning, Eve starts installing a solar panel and suggests to Arthur that they play riddles. She poses the first one, which he easily solves, then he offers his own. They continue until Eve presents a riddle about 3 robots. Arthur can't answer because only a human can grasp it, and he asks Eve for the correct solution. She merely laughs at him, delighted that she's finally outsmarted the robot. Jokingly, she proposes to Arthur that he marry her. He gives her the dictionary definition of marriage and assures her such a union between them is impossible. With bitterness, she says that she has no one but this robot. Her father built the base, then left for his unit after the war and brought Arthur here, having picked him up from a warehouse. Afterward, her father left again, although he promised to return in a couple of days while the robot guarded her. But a lot of time has passed and he never came back, so the only one she could possibly marry is the robot. Not understanding her jokes, Arthur points out that a malfunction in a husband or wife could be a serious problem, but Eve suggests swapping him out for a newer model. People do that all the time after all. Still, replacements aren't always successful, and the 2 of them might be the last beings left on Earth. Arthur can neither confirm nor deny this, as his database goes only up to the end of 2040. Back then, Earth's population was 9.5 billion. Eve says that she regularly leaves their coordinates in the restricted zone, yet Arthur can't understand why. Who's left to read them if no one is around? The woman asks him to recall the 3 main rules for robots, and Arthur obligingly lists them. A robot must not harm a human, must obey all orders, and must ensure its own continued existence, provided it doesn't conflict with the first 2 laws. But Eve reminds him that her robot is also supposed to look for new energy sources. Arthur points out that he's a patrol robot, not a collection robot, and that his role is to prevent intruders from entering. In his view, an intruder is anyone who doesn't know the password. Eve reminds him that during the climate war, he served at the border and let no one pass, simply because people didn't know the password. At that time, India was suffering a severe water shortage. Temperatures soared so high that people and animals were literally cooking alive. Their only chance was to flee somewhere with a possibility of survival. Meanwhile, the North had lined its border with thousands of robots, leading to the most massive slaughter in human history. It amounted to genocide of people fighting for their lives. But later, Arthur's memory was wiped. If he had known the password, she would have reflashed him long ago, granting him new responsibilities instead of this pointless patrolling.